Welcome back to the Many Toys Of, the show in which we go over the action figure history of various Transformers characters. And today, I think it's time we go back to the Stunticons and look at Deadend. Before we begin, a big thank you to Grim Prime 6451, Mothman 465, and Deadend Depressed Ramblings. Please don't hurt me. Please let my family go. Please let my family go. How would I describe Deadend to anyone who hasn't already seen the character? Well, what I'd always go with is he's depressed. That's kind of the running joke that all the Stunticons have their own mental illnesses. Deadend, he's the nihilist of the bunch. But there's more to him than that. It's not so much that he's just a nihilist. He's a nihilist who desperately wants to feel like there's a purpose for life. Just look at how into it he is whenever he's fighting people, more specifically when he's on the losing end of a fight. And it's not like he's excited to die, no, he's fighting with tooth and nail to survive. I think at some level, Deadend desperately wants to think that there's a point to it all. He wants to think that he can survive, anyone can survive, if they fight hard enough and if they're strong enough with their convictions. It's just he can't convince himself of that when he's not in the heat of battle. It's easy to just say, yeah, Deadend doesn't fight because he's sad. But no, he fights faster, stronger, and more ferociously than most Decepticons. He desperately doesn't want to die in a fight. And that kind of gives him a reason to live in some ways. Of course, only one toy could be his first, and I really like G1 Deadend. Coming out in 1986, he really is similar to characters like Breakdown, Dragstrip, basically all the Stunticons. But it honestly works for him. It helps that he has such a beautiful Porsche car mode. I love the deco with the yellow and the asymmetry. Get him into robot mode, and he's pretty proportionate, all things considered. Maybe a bit long in the legs, but what can you say? He is a combiner limb, and he works very well as a limb to Menasor. In Japan, you'd be able to get Deadend alongside the other Stunticons in the Menasor gift set. Going into 1990, if you went to European or Australian markets, you could get the Classics reissue of Deadend alongside all the other Stunticons with absolutely no changes made to them. We're going to make a quick pit stop in 1994 to talk about G2 Deadend. Now, this toy never came out. Unlike Breakdown, he didn't even get a BotCon exclusive. In 1999, we get the most unique Deadend ever in Beast Wars Neo. Check this guy out! He's an ammonite! I mean, he's literally one of the Keystone fossils, and a great-looking version of it as a robot on to boot. In the same year, you could get the Undersea Showdown, Break vs. Deadend, and here's the crazy thing, Deadend is not the worst shell former in this 2-pack. Break is insane. Going into 2003, we'd be introduced to yet another new version of Deadend, that being Armada Deadend. This is Unicron's Minicon, and he's styled after Moonbase 1 from the G1 movie. Now, he never showed up in the show, but he's made various cameos in comics. He showed up in the PS2 Armada game. It's kind of fun to think that Deadend is the smaller version of Unicron and yet would still be an absolute behemoth of a bot. But in our real world, he's a very tiny guy, a minicon that turns into a bowling ball. Unicron and Deadend would be released in a bonus pack at Walmart that included the Air Military Minicon team. Weirdly enough, in 2004 there was the Hickory no Unicron. There's only 10 of these Unicrons in the world. They are heavily modified from the original Armada Unicron, but Deadend is more or less exactly the same. Hey, at least Energon Deadend is different. I really like the new colors here. In a weird way, he kind of reminds me of Primus, or how Primus would go on to look. It's a really nice, striking deco. Of course, G1 Deadend wasn't forgotten because in 2004 he got his Alternators figure. Now, he is a decently heavy retool of Sideswipe, and he would himself be redecoed into Sunstreaker later on. In 2008, there was the Toys R Us exclusive Universe Unicron. At the time, this was the most G1 accurate Unicron action figure ever made, though Armada Deadend was still included with absolutely no changes. Going into 2009, Deadend would make it into Revenge of the Fallen. Not in the movie, mind you, just as a comic character, but he actually got a couple of good toys out of it. Starting with the Scout Class Deadend, also known as Detour. Of course, the Deadend most people think about from Revenge of the Fallen is the Deluxe Class Deadend. This is a retool of Revenge of the Fallen Sideways, and I honestly think he looks so much better. Admittedly, he looks a little bit more like Wild Rider than Deadend, but hey, whatever. What's even more interesting is in the comics, this guy was a weird Decepticon vampire that would go around cannibalizing the Autobots. It was gross and weird and sick, and I kind of love it. And I like the idea that there's just this weird cannibal Decepticon that everyone's terrified of. Finally, Revenge of the Fallen Deadend was 2-packed with my boy Cliffjumper in titanium. In 2010, we went back to Armada with the Universal Dominator Unicron. This was the Takara Tomy version of a G1 Unicron using the Armada mold, and once again, Deadend was included. I'm not gonna lie, it seems like most of Deadend's toy history is really dominated by that weird moon guy, but there's plenty of Deadends to come. But why don't we take a break right now and talk about some of those third-party options, because you better believe third-party loves themselves a Stunticon. The first Deadend I would have ever known of would have been a part of the Fans Project Casualty set, and this Deadend is sick. He takes a lot of notes from IDW Deadend at the time, and the Menasor is just an utter monster of a combiner. You better believe they did a G2 version of this Deadend too. Transformission also did a Deadend in their set of Stunticons, and this I really enjoy just because it's not based on anything. It's not really IDW, it's not really movie, it's not really show. They just want to do their own spin on the Stunticons. And some of them are a bit hit or miss. Breakdown I wasn't a big fan of, but Deadend I think really wears this body well. Of course, if you're going to talk third party, you're going to eventually be talking Masterpiece. And in terms of Masterpiece, DX9 Deadend's the first one I recall. Now, for a guy who has to split in half for his Menasor Combine mode, I think he looks great. It's hard to hide a seam like that, and eventually Hasbro would do something similar with their Legacy United set. But that doesn't change the fact that this Deadend really went for it. He's a great looking toy. I honestly think he's one of the best looking figures in his entire set. But I do wish that maybe he didn't have to fall apart. Oh yeah, you better believe there's a G2 version. There's also the X-Transbots Deadend. And you want to know what I like about their Deadend and their Stunticons in general? They don't combine. And I know for a lot of people that's blasphemy, but hear me out. A lot of these great designs are impaired by the fact that they also have to work in a combination gimmick. So seeing Stunticons that get to just be perfect Stunticons and not even have to worry about being Menasor is really nice. Like, if you're a fan of just one Stunticon in general, why should your toy be impaired for a combined mode you don't want and don't need? But then again, you got the Fans Toys Deadend, and he does combine, but also he looks incredible because Fans Toys, if there's one thing they excel at, it's their aesthetics. Their toys always look great. Now, play great? I'm not too sure. I've messed with a few of their Stunticons at this point, and many of them feel stiff and are a little bit, let's say, nail-biting. I'm always worried I'm going to break these guys, especially in Transformation, but for people who enjoy Fans Toys and want that perfect screen accuracy, this is the ideal Deadend. New Age has a Deadend coming out, but at this point, no one's really had any chance to put their hands on him. Meanwhile, check out Iron Factory Menasor. This thing looks sick! A samurai Menasor, and all the Stunticons are also samurai ninja aesthetics. I can't wait for these guys. They're so bizarre and weird, and I'm all for it. In terms of a third-party Legend Scale Deadend you can get right now, there's the Magic Square Deadend. And there's a warning I'm going to give you right now, because I have this Legend Scale Deadend. The kneecaps break easily. Not the knees, the kneecaps, the little transformation joint right next to the knee. However, if you're willing and able to avoid that, this Deadend is so nice. A wonderful feeling figure. And that's a wrap on third-party Deadend. In all honesty, I think that people should really take note at how many Menasors there have been in third party. I think in that ocean of Devastators and Bruticus's, it's easy to forget that there's also been a lot of options for Menasor, Superion, and Defensor, and many of them are far greater than any Devastator to ever come out. Going into 2011, had you gone to BotCon, you could get the Stunticon Job box set. In my opinion, the best box set ever put out by BotCon that wasn't somehow Beast Wars adjacent. And this Deadend is just a work of art. Taking animated jazz, one of the best deluxes in the entire line, and giving it one of the best color schemes in all of Transformers, it's just beautiful. Things got a little bit weird in 2012. So in Asian markets, Revenge of the Fallen Breakdown was repainted into Deadend, and this looks very similar to the Revenge of the Fallen Deadend, yes, but the colors are Wild Rider. Like, no question, that is Wild Rider. Of course, things only got weirder in 2013. Starting out small, you had the Botshot Deadend. He would have been included alongside Motor Breath, Drag Strip, Breakneck, and Breakdown. But then there was Prime Deadend. And I'm trying to figure out if this is the most ugly masterpiece or most beautiful disaster I have ever seen. Just look at Prime Deluxe Deadend, a wonderful retool of Wheeljack. Wheeljack already possibly the best deluxe in all of Prime, but given this insane Halloween redeco with a monster face, look at that thing. It looks like, I don't know, the Sarlacc pit. Just a black hole of a gob. I'm worried that if you go near him, he's going to try to eat you or steal your candy or kick your sandcastle. His neon swords, the hits of green and orange throughout the entire figure, with the gray to help balance everything out. This shouldn't work. This shouldn't work. This should have been the ugliest, gaudiest repaint ever. But I think they put in enough gray to balance it all out, and it comes back around to looking amazing again. Of course, Prime Deadend was such a great idea that ConstructBots also had to take a go at him, and weirdly enough, even though you got the green swords and the head, this honestly looks a lot more like G1 Drag Strip. Going into 2014, there was the Micro Change Combiner Menasor from Creo. So not only did you get a tiny micro changer of Deadend, who looks great, a nice little Creon, he could also be used to form the Creon Menasor. By the time of 2015, we were all desperate for new combiners. We were getting the characters every now and again, but none of them could actually combine. But then, Combiner Wars came. And say what you will about Combiner Wars nowadays, was it repetitive? Sure. Were there not that many molds? Absolutely, there were not enough molds. But Combiner Wars really revitalized the entire Transformers toy line. And then you get figures like Deadend. What a work of art Deadend is. An incredible transformation, a beautiful robot mode, and look at his weapon! He literally just has a pipe. He's gonna come and beat you with a lead pipe. And then he's going to turn into an arm and punch you as the arm before coming back and looting your pockets because, I don't know, he's a punk. I love this Deadend. Later that same year, you could have gotten the Unite Warriors Menasor that would have given you a much more cartoon-accurate Deadend. In 2016, it was reissues and redecos. You could get the Combiner Robot Mega Pack from Creo. This would have given you the micro changers of Superion, Bruticus, and Menasor, though there were no changes made to any of the figures. You also could have gotten the Combiner Wars G2 Menasor pack that included a G2 Deadend. In 2018, Armada Unicron must have been a Daft Punk fan because he went one more time. And even better, we got this really weirdly redecoed Bug. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's cool, I like him, he's green, but, why is he green? In 2019, Deadend probably got the biggest spotlight he's ever had as a character, showing up in Season 3 of Cyberverse and completely stealing the show. I loved him in Cyberverse, as did many other people. It was fun to have this Decepticon who was just a total downer still team up with the Autobots and add so much personality to the show. The character was so popular, I'm thankful he actually got a handful of pretty good toys. You have the Scout Deadend, which, doesn't really transform, but in robot mode is a nice representation of the design. A couple of years later in 2021, we got the Warrior class Deadend, and this is one of the best Cyberverse toys in my opinion. It's a very quick conversion, but it gives you a good car and a good robot. Going into 2022, we got the Deadend that I think most people are probably happiest with right now, that being the Legacy Deadend. Now, the Legacy Stunticons were an amazing set, and Menasor is just one of the best combiners Hasbro has ever put out. As for Deadend, I think he's very, very good. The transformation's nice and easy, the car mode is near perfect, I like his two pistols, the robot mode is very well articulated, they've captured the design as well as they could at the main line, especially considering he has to combine. And I think that out of all the Stunticons, him, Dragstrip, and Motormaster are the clear highlights. That brings us to our most recent Deadends in 2023, because you could get the G2 Universe Deadend in the Toxitron collection. I love the redeco here. They went all in on the blue, and it works. I love the electric blue, the yellow, the red, all working together so well. I wish I could have found this guy in stores, but unfortunately he was very hard to find. But you could have also gotten the Stunticon Menasor gift set in 2023, and it would have given you a more toy-accurate Deadend. I honestly think that both of these look better than the original Deadend, and that's it. Deadend, of course, is a Stunticon, which means that, like all combiners, he's always going to have a good number of figures, especially within the past decade of the fandom. However, Deadend is more than that. Similar to Swindle and Breakdown, he's also had a pretty good solo career. I mean, sure, he was definitely being carried by his association with Unicron for a little bit, but look at the Ammonite Deadend. Look at the Revenge the Fallen Deadend. Look at Animated Deadend. Look especially at Prime Deadend. There's plenty of times where he didn't combine and was still one of the coolest figures you could possibly buy. And I know not all of these are necessarily the character of Deadend, but the name really does carry a great panache to it. You want a Decepticon named Deadend, it just works so well. On that note, guys, thank you so much for watching. We, of course, have a massive list to go through, but we're going to begin to each and every single one of them before too much longer. You have my word. In terms of next week, we're going over another combiner bot, that being Swindle. And past that, we have Christmas to look forward to. On that week, we're going to be going over Optimus Primal, leader of the Maximals, and arguably the most important character in the franchise. In any case, that's going to be a ton of fun when we get to it. Until then, we'll see what we get up to next time.